Hello, this video is going to be something simple and basic in terms of enjoyment and practicality of life. You don't need me to how do I put this? To make you believe these things, but if you're loose from the devil, you see it for yourself. Right? The Bible says, to the pure, all things are pure. And to those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. But even the mind and conscience are defiled. Right? This means that the devil has a will in the world, and his will is to take things which there is nothing wrong with partaking of or doing and make it impure. He seeks to do these things to take away your joy in the world. Right? He seeks to do these things so he brings himself, closer to you and society. Alright? Everything in which I'm going to tell you is based on what I've experienced and in terms of deliverance. Alright? I need to give you some history. Alright, when I first came to the Lord, let's go way before then. When I was a young man growing up, I should say, I spent time watching TV, cartoons, let's say anime, drawing, exercising, playing video games. I did these things because I enjoyed it. Alright? Now, the extent of the things in which you are involved with and the purity of you seeing these things for what they are depends on how much leeway the Lord gives the devil in terms of the control of your life. Right? Ignore the height difference. Right, so this is 100. Right, this is 0. This is 50. And so forth, and they're in between, right? Same thing for this one. Alright? So, the things in life which you deem worthy to partake of depends on if you are able to see the purity and glory in these things. Right? So what I mentioned before, that I used to take part of drawing, exercising, playing video games, watching cartoons, anime, documentaries, action movies, right? It was to a certain degree, right? And the devil's will in my life was to a certain degree, right? But because this, when we reached there, I was able to see the purity of the other stuff. Some folks may not have it, it may be higher. So they don't like cartoons. They see it as being too childish. You know what I see in cartoons? Creativity. Tenderness when it comes to creating content for children who are growing in the world. You know what I see in anime? Creativity. Right? Storytelling. Entertainment. Right? It's like an overall, I see wit and intelligence. Right? The same goes for video games. But video games incorporates you being involved with it, so there's problem solving. Right? And exercising has all these things involved with it. That's what I see in it. Right? Someone might not see these things. The devil will make them not see it. So cartoons are childish. Right? Watching anime is only for like these dweebs. Right? So anime is out of the question. Right? Exercising. They want to exercise because they want to look good. Right? They want to look good. They want to feel good about themselves. They want to be hot for their partner, right? So they want to exercise. Right? What is drawing? They may not be able to draw. Right? Singing, they may not be able to sing. Certain genres of music they will not like. If you like them. Or you like Celtic music, you like medieval music, you know. They get a question mark. Okay, that's your thing. Or do they may like R&B, hip hop, these nice songs, and whatever. I hate these songs because what I see in it is not what they see in it. Right? What the devil does is via the strawman and his finger pointing, as I explained in the strawman and his good spot 3, is he lets you see, he makes you see what he wants you to see. So in these songs of the world, what do you see? You see romance. You see sweet talking. Right? You see relationship stuff that is nice to see. You see attitudes and mindsets that you could relate to because they are who you are. Right? And these don't have to be impure. Right? They can be pure, as in defiance to bad situations, bad people, etc. etc. Right? So you listen to these songs. Defiance as in a way in which a guy may treat you, right? Or promotion of a mindset that people should have. So you like these songs. I always hated soca music, right? And dancehall music. Right? I hated the majority of hip hop songs and R&B. Hated them, and reggae. Why? Because what I hear is not what the people who hear these songs hear. Right? And if you like it, you know what you hear. But it's the devil telling you to pay attention to this and that it is good. Right? They're literally telling you that it is good. Right? But when you can hear it for yourself and you can like listen to it, there's many things in which you see. You see the reason for the song being made. Right? You see the intent in the author. Right? Hip hop, no, soca, dancehall, reggae, ridiculous types of music. They're all stupid. Right? When you hear it, that's all that you hear. Literally. It's like retardism to the extreme. Right? That's all you hear. And the Bible says, woe to those who take bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter, and crooked for straight and straight for crooked. You exchange it. That's all that you hear. Right? That's why I hate it. Like, it's like, what type of songs are these? Right? You know how beautiful. Have you ever heard Japanese music? Like Japanese songs? How beautiful they are in terms of the lyrics and the intent. Right? Sometimes you don't understand what it is they're saying because you haven't researched the lyrics, but it's beautiful. And when you research the lyrics, it gets even more beautiful. Right? I listen to all sorts of music. The devil is like, rock music is demonic. Don't listen to rock music. Right? And they show you these pictures and symbols of the bands and the logos, and they're like, oh, this is demonic. Evil is not an image. Evil is a will. The devil wants evil to be an image, right? So when you are looking at the wrong thing, it's a scapegoat for their cause. Right? Evil is not a vibe or an image. It's a will. Right? The devil gives evil a vibe. Someone who's talking about demons too much and casting them out, they give you a bad vibe. You don't want them around. The demon is getting the bad vibe because his time is almost near, because the Lord put someone next to you, right, that points them out. Right? So the time is near. Right? Now you get the gist of it. Right? Video games are the most beautiful things, are one of the most beautiful things in the world. Right? And you get to see that the Lord is behind it, because it is the only type of medium that contains all the other types of mediums. Music, storytelling, problem solving, etc., etc. Visuals, environment, learning, being creative. It contains all these things in it. Right? But the devil has his paradigms in the world. A paradigm is a typical example of something. So I'm 28 years old. 28-year-old guy that plays video games. Right? Some folks might think it's okay. Some folks might say he should be doing something else. Do you know how I got re-involved in doing video games and playing video games? When I came to the Lord, I gave away everything. Right? Destroying everything. I'm like, Lord, just me and you. I'm going to learn my Bible. I'm going to go out and street preach. I'm going to witness. Right? It's what he said. He who loses his life for his sake will find his life. Right? So I gave away everything. Right? I used to street preach all the time. And then one day I'm at work. Right? I had just bought this new phone. The Lord was like, buy a nice phone. And he's like, he has me researching all these things, all the different types of phones and the specs, the processor, the CPU, the RAM, right? And all these things he has me researching, right? Because it's fun, right? It's beautiful, and I was totally enjoying myself. And I bought this particular phone, right? And he's like, you don't need him to tell you to do these things. You will naturally do it. But the devil and the strong man has you, and he has allowed them to use you. So he comes, and you're being led by the Spirit to go in this direction. But you don't need him to do it, right? Because he made you in his image and likeness. You know what it is you're supposed to be doing, and you know why you should be doing what it is you're doing. And wisdom is justified by your children. And life is so delightful to be involved in everything besides perversity. Everything is beautiful. Right? So you would naturally go in this route if it weren't for the devil. Right? And I'm sitting down in work during lunch, and the Lord is like, go to Google Play Store. We're gonna download some games for your phone. So I'm like, alright, let's see what's gonna happen. Right? And I download this game. It's a racing game. I can't recall the name of it, or else I would tell you so you can play it too. Right? It's where you control a car, and it goes down a hill. It goes down it goes down hills. It goes up inclines, and it turns around corners. And the only way you can control the car is via the gas pedal and the brake pedal. And you have a gas tank, and the gas tank runs out as you go along, and you pick up containers as you go along, and you pass checkpoints. Right? And the further you reach without flying off the cliff or running out of gas, is the higher your score. And you use this to get more cars and to unlock new tracks, right? And I'm playing this, and it's really fun. The devil robs the world of ASMR. So someone may have played video games before, and it gave off a video game feeling. It's sort of bland. It sort of sucks. You know, it's okay. I understand why. It's sort of entertaining, right? And then someone else would experience video games differently. They're immersed in it. They're in the world because they see it for what it is, and they thoroughly enjoy it. Right? You have not. It's like, how do I put this? It's like this. Right? You like get that thing on my face with the video games. You bite it, but you don't reach it. It's like, oh, it tastes like it tastes okay. But those that bite it, they get the full taste of it, and they reach here and they see it, right? And no, it's not similar. The devil is like it's similar to a drug. No. A drug is the demon carrying you on a trip. Right? This is you just seeing the world. The Bible says everything is beautiful in its own time, right? And that's why. And eventually, the Lord was like, we're going to build a gaming computer, a gaming PC. You destroyed your PC, you gave away the parts, we're going to build a new one. Right? And he has me researching all these things. I'm thinking and this and all this. And money was not the issue. Right? The issue, the main goal, what we were aiming for, the bullseye, was enjoyment considering the whole picture. Right? That was it. Right? And he gave me a goal to aim for, because computer parts, as time go by, they eventually aren't as good as the new stuff. And when you buy parts for a computer, you have to think about future proofing. So you buy performance hardware, and as time goes by, it will not become inadequate. It lasts. Right? Now in the computer industry, so to speak, right, processors in the Intel line, right, there's like i3, i5, i7, etc., and there's like i9 and so forth, right? We aim for the i5. In the i5 categories, there's also categories. We aim for the best i5 at the point in time, and I built everything around it, and I was supposed to aim for a racing game called Forza Horizon to run at the maximum graphic settings at 60 frames per second for the best enjoyment, right? And so said, so done. That's how I got involved into video games again. And I would play it, and I would see it, and it would be beautiful. then the Lord and the angels would join me in on these video games and I'll play it with them. Right? And he lets you know beforehand, he lets you know afterwards, and he lets you know during. And it becomes quite obvious when he is there and when the angels are there. Alright, excuse me. So yeah, to the pure all things are pure, but to those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. Now let's look at clothing. Right? In the world where I live, it's very hard for me to find clothes that fit my body. Right? Like, I think the Lord just did this on purpose, to be honest. Right, so I would always wind up buying like fitted jeans, right? And jerseys that fit me. But it would not be like tight like you see these these other questionable guys wearing. It'll be just right. Right? And you get this and you develop, it's like you don't want to look bad, so you have a fashion sense. It doesn't make sense to wear clothes that don't fit you right. Right? Eventually, after looking, I would always find clothes that fit me just right. Right? And it's like and you develop a sense of style. Devil is like, oh, don't wear this and don't wear that. People are gonna lust after you, but he's making them lust after you. Right? The Lord will stop them. You're not doing it for that to happen. And the devil will be like, oh, you're vain. You care about your appearance. Well, yeah. He takes what it is you want and the right thing, and then makes it out to be evil. Caring about your appearance. Well, yeah. Right. Everyone else cares about my appearance. And he's like, you know, you're not doing it because they care about it. You're doing it because you care about it. And then they care about it. Right. So you're like, you know, you can't stop the world. You know, people judge you passively or actively. Right. You cannot escape it. You judge people passively or actively. And it's based on this impression is which you develop relationships with people. Now, the way in which I dress, when people see me street preaching, it's a sight to behold. Here's this guy with a really good fashion sense, right? He's physically fit, he's built a certain way, right? He has all his things in order, and look at him standing there street preaching. Right? And it's weird because people don't want to get involved with like church and religion because there's a certain label that's associated with it that they do not want. Right? But when they see you redefine what it means to be a child of God while being a child of God, that's what they want. No one wants to be weird. Right? And that's the end of this video. To the pure, all things are pure. To those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. The only thing in this world that is not worth your time to investigate, to see if there's anything good in it, right, is sin or perversity. Right? Ask the Lord to deliver you from Lucifer's dogmas and bondage. And you'd see that everything in this world is extraordinarily beautiful to partake of, to behold. Right? Take one of the best movies in which you've ever seen. Right? You got to experience a movie to its fullest, and it's like, yeah. Even if you did not get to experience a movie in the fullest because you did so under the bondage of the strong man. So you were still missing some of the percentage of the movie. Right? Take that and think about the stuff in which do not rub you the same way, and give that the potential of it, of what is supposed to be there, and then reinvestigate it. And the Lord will allow you to taste like the cracker with the parrot, and you'll get to see why. And you know what the devil does? He puts himself as the top people in these other categories to be the best of the best. Right? So he's like saying this is bad, but then he's right there being the best in the category. Right? Now if you're a dude in the world what's the what's the alternate form, or what's the other option you have if you don't play video games, if you don't watch anime or cartoons? What do? You go out, you drink, you lime, you party, you club. That's the alternative, right? That's it, right? There's nothing wrong with going out with friends, right? There's nothing wrong with some alcohol, right? There's nothing wrong with partying, right? But when you're doing this in the world, you're partying with tears, you're drinking with tears, you're socializing with tears, right? Fallen angels playing pretend masquerading as people. The same ones who are responsible for destroying your life. That's why the Lord doesn't want you doing it. That's why. But when you meet other children of God, you get to see, or when the Lord shows you the things in the world, there are things you could be spending your time doing that are more heart filling, right? That you can spend with someone else, that you can take a journey with someone else, but with other people. A demon is making me stutter. And you get to see that there are better things that you could be doing, right? Or there's a level of enjoyment that the devil takes away from you when you partake of activities in the world. Since the strawman is being forced to let you partake of this activity, he seeks to rob you of the enjoyment in the activity. Let's take, for example, simply drawing something, like making the strokes on a page. It's very enjoyable. Very enjoyable, right? But what they do is they give you the desire to reach the end. So you start drawing and you're like, oh, I need to finish. I'm trying to make this. And your delight is only reserved for the end product. Your delight isn't given from the start to the finish, right? You don't get it. So you going down the route again to draw isn't fulfilling, because you know you have to go through the trouble of reaching the end product. You're robbing you of the enjoyment from the start to the finish, right? It's the same as if you were having sex, right? Being intimate with your partner. Start from finish is supposed to be enjoyable. From the start, you see her, she's beautiful, you enjoy it, right? You touch, you speak, you kiss, it becomes standard. Start to finish is enjoyable. Everything else in the world has this formula. Start to finish is enjoyable. Not the end product. Not you ejaculating is supposed to be the only thing enjoyable. From start to finish. Right? With video games, as you hold the controller in your hand and you press the buttons, start to finish. As you see the user interface, as you navigate it, as you move these buttons, it combines with that. Start to finish. As you move your character around, as you hold the controller, and as you see the world in which the character exists in, and you see their body moving in the world in which they're moving in, all these things combine. Start to finish. Right? And as you grow with the character and you progress, it snowballs even further. Start to finish. And it's entirely enjoyable. And when you compare yourself to the character in the game and the life in which you live, you get to see the things in which you're enjoying in this video game world you are not enjoying in this world. Right? Some folks are like, oh, look at the graphics, how beautiful they are. Yet you are in real world. The devil gives the world a real world feeling, right? And that enjoyment of the atmosphere is not there, because the demon is robbing you of it. You don't see it. Literally, trust me. Right? You do not see it. No. The video game has motion blur and depth of field, and your life has motion blur and depth of field. But you don't enjoy it as much as you see in the video games, because the demon is robbing you of the enjoyment. This is why Jesus said in the new world no one will be able to take your joy, because the devil right now is being allowed to take your joy. But the Lord is allowing you to experience it in different avenues of life. Right? But if you were allowed to think for yourself, you'd see that they exist in some avenues of your life, but they don't exist in other avenues of your life. It's because you're not controlling your mind, will, and emotions. They are. Right? Because this whole world falls flat and stops living if the devil isn't breathing into it himself. Alright? And this is the end of this video. To the pure, all things are pure. To those who are defiled and unbelieving, nothing is pure. But even the mind and conscience are defiled.